What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Collective MMA channel. I'm here with my guy, The Wager Zone, and we're back for episode 10 of Fight IQ. We're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night, Salkilld versus Gamrot. Wager, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm ready for this week of MMA fights. We got PFL, we got UFC, and man, episode 10 already. Time is flying. We're already on episode 10. We have many episodes coming out. Soon we won't be at 100. It's going to be like, oh, damn. But yeah, this card is kind of a whatever type of card. There's not that many big name brands, but sometimes some of these, like Dana says, you can't judge the fights before you watch them. So I think the UFC is giving us kind of I guess like the best word to say is like a whack card because we got Islam Makhachev and Ian Gary coming up next week. So I think it's gonna be. We'll see how the card goes.
For sure, yeah. Like you mentioned, sometimes, the cards with not as much name value tend to deliver. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to breaking down each and every one of these fights with you. Before we do that, let's do a quick recap of UFC Belgrade. Overall, like, what were your thoughts on the card, and how'd you make out from a betting perspective?
The card was an absolute banger. Absolute banger. We had the most finishes in UFC history, the most first round finishes in UFC history. It was such a great card, and those Serbian fans, man, they were getting wild, especially after Euros Medic won. They started lighting flares up in there. That's how those Serbian. Even if you watch any like Serbian or Slovenian basketball matches, yeah, they got flares, everything. So yeah, they're great fans overall for any sport. But from a betting perspective, I did pretty well. I went 3-2 on my bets. But the bets I lost were like smaller plays. All my big plays won. I had 3 units on the two-leg parlay with Michael Oliveira and Navajo Sterling. I had 2 units on Euros Medic and Alexander Rodchik in a parlay. And then I took a half unit play on Dustin Todorovic as underdog. That one lost. Then I had a 1.5 unit play on the three-leg parlay with Milosevic, Luciano, and Mateusz Rebecki. That one cashed. And then I ended up losing on a 1 unit play on Euros Medic by knockout and Vlaso Chepo by knockout in a two-leg parlay. So 3-2 on our bets, but overall profitable. Another profitable UFC event.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree. It was an awesome card. Yeah, like you mentioned, tons of finishes, tons of first round finishes. And yeah, I did really well betting on my 5 MMA bets in just 10 minutes episode. We went 4 for 5. I had the one we lost was Luciano by decision. That one, she got her down, and Spossett gave up her back immediately and got choked out. So that was our one and only loss. Then we had a two-leg parlay, Leka and Rakic that cashed. We had another parlay, Bogdan and Michael Oliveira that cashed. We had Robert Valentin straight up on the money line that cashed, even though it was a little bit of a sweat for how many damn guillotines this guy kept jumping. But hey, he got it done, so I'll eat my hat. And then we had Euros Medic round one KO. So yeah, overall went 4 to 5. No complaints for me. I had a couple other live bets and a few other plays that I made, but overall no complaints. It was a great card, and I'm looking to keep that momentum rolling forward into this week. So
And
without any
I missed my cycle parlay again by
Mm.
one thing. We had Luciano by sub, we had Navajo Sterling by knockout, and then we had Ludovic Klein by decision, and that's the one we lost. Oh man, again, always one, always one.
For sure. No, it's tough when it's like that. And yeah, Klein, man, like that fight, I don't think he should have came back as soon as he did. Like you could tell, I mean, some of those leg kicks and Musayev was smart, going after his leg, but you could tell he was thinking about it in there. He
Mhm.
was, kind of overcompensating. So I think he definitely rushed back. And, I get it. Like you want to be on that card the first time in Serbia. He, like that kind of thing, show it for some fans that support him and whatnot. But yeah, I think he probably should have taken a bit more time off. But it is
Mhm.
what it is. So we will jump right into this card. Fight night, Salkilld versus Gamrot. With our first fight of the night, we have Juliana Miller versus Ravena Oliveira. We have Miller coming in at minus 290 and Oliveira at plus 237. What do you like in this one?
I like Juliana. I think she's eventually going to use her grappling in a spot and get the fight to the floor, and then probably win this fight by submission. I do think Oliveira is more of a cleaner striker. I would honestly just a way better cleaner striker than Miller. but she doesn't have the best output. She doesn't throw enough punches for me to think that she's going to be able to keep Miller's pressure off of her. And I just think that Miller's pressure, her physical strength, the grappling is eventually going to take over. I can see round one being a little bit close, and then round two, I think at that point, Ravena Oliveira is probably going to start like pushing forward, rushing her striking, and then she'll probably get taken down. And that's when Juliana Miller, I think, is just going to drown her and probably end up winning this fight by rear naked choke. So give me Juliana Miller by sub.
All right. Yeah. You got Miller in this one. Yeah, like decent striker. She's mainly striking to get her takedowns and grappling going. She's got some basic boxing combos. Yeah, definitely a bit limited on the feet and not the most defensively responsible either. She tends to blitz forward a fair bit, and she's definitely hittable when she does that. She'll get the cage push going. Yeah, some decent takedowns and some pretty good grappling. And yeah, she's opportunistic with the back take, so I like that. And then yeah, on the Oliveira side, like yeah, pretty good striker, decent, pretty good striker. Yeah, like you mentioned, I think she's definitely going to be, the better striker in this one. Yeah, she's also a bit limited on the feet. She will mix it up though. She'll mix up the kicks, the straight punches. Um, and yeah, she doesn't have the best takedown defense either, which I think could be a problem in this fight. And she tends to, be on her front foot and not be in a position to stop the takedowns, which is the reason why her takedown defense hasn't really held up. So yeah, I think Miller's going to find a way to get this fight to the mat and win by finish. Yeah, whether that's either a sub or a TKO. Yeah, I'm not specifically looking to back either one of these fighters per se, but yeah, I think Miller's kind of the lesser of two evils in this one. So yeah, as far as a pick, give me Miller by finish, and I think for a bet, you could look at Miller inside the distance at plus 105. So we will keep on running with our next fight. We have Miles Johns versus Jessie Rosas. We have Miles Johns at minus 146 and Jessie Rojas at plus 126. This is indeed Raul Rosas's brother. Take that for what you will. And yeah, in this one, you got Rosas. He's like a decent to pretty good striker. Again, hasn't fought the greatest competition, so it's kind of hard to take a whole lot from that. But he's got some decent power. He'll throw leg kicks. He'll throw straight punches. He mixes up his targets. I really like the way that he digs to the body. I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, he's got some pretty good combos, pretty good grappling. He's also opportunistic with the back takes. He's got good scrambles, decent takedowns, and he attacks submissions. And then on the John side, like he's gonna be the better striker in this one, I believe. He's got some leg kicks. He'll work the jab, throw some combos. He can be a bit low volume at times. He's got decent takedown defense. He'll work the cage push at times and go for his own takedowns. He will try to work back to his feet if he does get taken down, and he's got like some okay grappling. Yeah, this one, like, I'm gonna lean towards John's getting it done by decision as my pick. But I'm not really that interested in backing him here, especially as the favorite. Yeah, like I said, I think he's going to be the better striker, and he's obviously a lot more proven. UFC veteran, has fought some decent competition. But one thing I noticed about him is he tends to fight like up or down to the level of competition he is fighting. He could be fighting a really, really good guy and give him a run for his money. And then he could fight a guy who's not in the rankings, and then he can end up losing and look not so good against him. So that's one thing I definitely do not like. And yeah, Rosas has some good grappling and has a lot of potential. Like I said, I don't know if he's gonna win this one, but like moving forward, he's a guy that I can see having some success in the UFC. So yeah, as far as a pick, give me Johns by decision. As far as a bet, though, I kind of think it's a dog or pass, at least from a money line standpoint. So I don't hate a dog shot on Rosas, or you could look at a Johns by decision at about plus 120. What about you?
I like Rosas in this spot, but I think this is gonna be a very close fight. This might be one of the closest fights on the card. Rosas, he has decent grappling. He takes the back very well. Like he is quick to take the back, and he does that very well. And I do think Johns is gonna be the slightly better striker, but Rosas, from what I've seen, has some decent striking himself. Like he digs to the body very well. He throws straight punches, and I love people that throw straight punches. And I just think he's going to be able to mix it very well in the striking, and I just think John he slows down as the fight goes. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, so the UFC I do believe is putting him in a spot where they kind of want him to lose because, like I said last week, the Contender Series right around the corner. He loses this fight, he's going to get dropped from the UFC, and those new guys are coming in. So I do think Rosas is going to have a decent fight. I think this fight's going to go back and forth. I think both of them are going to have their spots, but I think it's going to come down to that both these fighters took this fight on short notice, and I do trust the younger guy to have the better cardio and create a more chaotic pace where he's going to be able to throw more strikes, put up combinations, get this fight to the floor, and certain scrambles, take the back. And I think this fight he wins by decision. I don't think Rosas dominates him at all. I think this is very close. I think where John's probably going to land the cleaner punches, but Rosas is going to probably win and grappling changes. So I'm just going to wins decision. Like I would say, from a betting perspective, I think the over 2.5 for the fight to go decision is probably the best bet for this fight. But give me Rosas, and I think it's going to be a split. I think it's going to be a split decision. I think Rosas is going to pull it off.
All right. Next up, we got Manoel Sousa versus Richie Miranda. We have Sousa coming in at -265 and Miranda coming in at +219. What do you like in this one?
Man, honestly, I really like Richie Miranda. If you guys haven't yet, check out my interview with Richie Miranda, another fighter out of Bloodline MMA that's coming into the UFC. I've interviewed him on my page, so go check that out if you guys want to get a little bit better perspective on this guy. But man, this is gonna be a tough first fight for him. Not gonna lie. Sousa, dangerous striker, crazy power. Richie Miranda, I think what he's gonna have to do in this fight is he's gonna have to put that pressure on him. He's gonna have to come in. He's gonna have to have the front foot forward. Don't back up in this fight. He's going to have to make sure he's on the front foot, mixing in takedowns, trying to make this fight very chaotic. And I do think he's a very good signing for the UFC, but on short notice, he's an LFA champion. He's won 7 straight. Like this guy, he's dangerous, but this is a hard fight for him. I think every time that Miranda tries to engage in the clinch or the takedowns, he's gonna have to cross through Sousa's power. And we just watched Sousa get one of the nasty knockouts recently, and I think that eventually he's gonna land a shot on Miranda and then probably put him out. Miranda does have a good chin historically, but I don't know if he's gonna be able to keep that pressure on him without getting hit with some shots. So I think Sousa stays patient and eventually catches Miranda entering when Miranda eventually tries to push that clinch or one of those takedowns. He's eventually going to get caught. So I'm going to say this fight gets to the second round, but I think Sousa knocks him out there.
All right. Yeah, like I agree with a lot of what you said in this one. Like, yeah, Sousa's, very good striker, leg kicks, he's got power, he feints, which I like that a lot. Yeah, he's got good combos, he'll mix up the targets, good in the clinch, he's athletic, good, pretty good, or decent takedown defense, decent grappling. He'll scramble, work back to the feet if he's taken down, pretty good ground and pound, killer instinct. He is a bit wild at times and also has questionable fight IQ at times. Specifically, he'll go for submissions at times that end up putting him in bad positions. And he's got pretty good cardio. He also carries his power late as well, which I really like. Like example in his Contender Series fight, he ended up, coming back and getting a 3rd-round knockout. And then in the Oki fight as well, carries that power late and ends up putting him away late in the fight. So that's something that I do like. And then on the Miranda side, he's a pretty good striker. Yeah, like he likes to work the jab, kind of stick it out there. He'll throw some leg kicks. He is fairly hittable though, which I think could be a problem here. Yeah, he'll work back up to his feet if he's taken down. He also has questionable fight IQ at times. Decent takedown defense, pretty good grappling, pretty good cardio as well. Yeah, he's been 5 rounds before. He much prefers to be the hammer rather than the nail, which again could be an issue in this one. And he is active from his back, throwing elbows, throwing up submissions, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think at some point Sousa's gonna, put him down and win this fight by knockout. Yeah, I just think the power difference in this one is going to be noticeable. And yeah, with Miranda just being hittable, that's something that I just don't like. Yeah, even in some of his fights where, he's not fighting the best competition in LFA, he's getting tagged a fair bit. So yeah, like I think if Miranda was to win this fight, it would have to look something like Sousa's Contender Series fight where Miranda is getting grappling going early in rounds 1 and 2. But yeah, realistically, I think Sousa's going to put him down. So yeah, as far as a pick, give me Sousa by knockout, and for a bet, Sousa by knockout at +170. I think that would be an angle to look at for sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised it's that high.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that was a pretty good price as well. Obviously, do your line shopping as well. That was the best line I found when I was looking at these things. But yeah, obviously, do your line shopping. Next up, we got Jose Montanha versus Louie Sutherland. Montanha also goes by Jose Luis, in case you guys, you saw him on a fight odds or anything like that. Another book might have a different name. But yeah, we got Montanha at plus 135 and Sutherland at minus 155. This is an interesting one and one that I'm definitely I'm not rushing to bet by any means. I'll say that now. Yeah, Montanha, like decent striker, leg kicks, pressure style, cage push, decent power. Not the most defensively sound on the feet. Decent takedowns, pretty good ground and pound. He's position over submission. Although he does like to get the submissions as well, but he doesn't force it, which I like, and he's got some pretty decent top control. And then on the Sutherland side, he's also a decent striker, decent power. He tends to like go in for these like flurries or like blitzes, like kind of he puts his head down and starts swinging, which I don't like that. Yeah, he'll throw leg kicks. He's got decent wrestling, but he tends to also get a lot of his takedown stuff. Like he'll go for the takedown and then get stuffed and he ends up in a cage push. But sometimes like where his head is in his like body angle, it's like bad, and then he just ends up getting sprawled. And now he's on bottom, so I don't like that. Yeah, he has some reversals. He's got pretty good top control if he gets you down. Decent ground and pound, yeah, cage push, and he's also position over submission. Yeah, if you watch that Tai Tuivasa fight, he was a-okay to just hold him down and have all the fans booing him. So yeah, this is one where I'm actually gonna go with Montanha in this one. Initially, I was thinking I was gonna pick Sutherland, but the more I thought about this one, like Sutherland has looked completely different outside the UFC compared to how he is now. Again, you can use your brain and figure out why that may be. I'm not gonna speculate, but yeah, I don't think he has many UFC caliber skills, honestly. And although we haven't seen much from Montanha, and he hasn't fought high level competition at all, also he had a little bit of a break from MMA there for a while. He's going to be looking to get this fight to the mat, and he's actually going to be looking to finish the fight, unlike Sutherland. And yeah, I don't know. Sutherland at minus 155 when his path to win is lay and pray. That's not something that I'm interested in. So yeah, I think Montanha's got all the finishing upside here. I think he wins. If he wins by finish, and I don't mind as far as a bet. I don't mind a dog shot on him. Again, I'm not rushing to play this one, but I'm definitely not betting Louie Sutherland. So what about you?
This fight I'm gonna go with Louis Sutherland, but like you said, I probably won't bet it. I won't get to a betting perspective, a betting spot in this fight. But I'm taking Louis Sutherland just because, like, I think he just fought the higher level competition at this point. I just think that he's finally won a fight in the UFC, and even though that was tied to Avasa, is on his way out at this point. But I think Montana's gonna have to get this fight to the floor, and if he doesn't get this fight to the floor, I think Louis Sutherland's eventually gonna catch him. His striking defense isn't that good, but Sutherland's takedown defense tends to his takedown defense isn't the best, but he gets by just because of his strength he has. So I think Montana's gonna have to get the fight to the floor, and if he doesn't, I think Sutherland's eventually just gonna be able to put pressure on him, move forward, and probably land one of the big shots, end up knocking him out. But one thing I can tell you, this is probably the most volatile fight on the whole entire card. I'll be surprised if this fight goes 3 rounds. But I'm gonna have to this body Sutherland knocks him out. Just looking at Montana's record, like he beat a guy that's 3-0. Then he beat a guy that's 1-0. Then he beat a guy that's 0-0. Beat another guy. He lost to a guy that's 3-0. And then 3 straight victories over guys that are 0-0. So it's like he's fighting very low level competition. And even watching one of his fights against a guy that was very low level, yeah, he won the fight in the first round, but the takedown he shot, it just didn't look good at all. Like, I don't know. I think this is a fight I probably will stay away from myself, but I'm gonna take Sutherland. I think he knocks him out in the first round.
All right, next up we have Diyar Nurgozhay versus Bruno Lopes. We have Nurgozhay coming in at minus 152 and Lopes at plus 132. What do you like in this one?
This is a spot where I almost got the Bruno Lopes. Like when I first saw the fight scheduled, I was like, "Oh, I'd take Bruno Lopes." But then I had to do some more tape study, and I'm gonna be taking Diyar Nurgozhay. The one thing I just don't like about this guy is that little tick he has. Like he just keeps touching his eye over and over again. Like I think someone's eventually gonna time it and catch him with something. Like I just think it's gonna happen. So that's the one thing I don't like about him. But he is very explosive. He's a very good athletic striker. Very good. Bruno Lopes is a guy that is going to have to try to get this fight to the floor for the most part. I don't think he's going to be able to strike with Nurgozhay from a technical perspective. And if he doesn't get the fight down to the floor against Nurgozhay, where I've seen Nurgozhay has okay takedown defense, not the best, but I have to think he's improving at that spot. But after I seen Bruno Lopes get dropped from a jab from Dustin Jacoby and get hurt really bad from Dustin Jacoby just hit him with a straight regular jab and then literally just wobbled him. I'm just like, then your chin is not all the way there at this point. But it's gonna be a close fight, and he's gonna have to show his grappling in this spot. But overall, Nurgozhay younger, faster, more explosive. He has great kicks from the outside, and I think he's gonna probably just force Lopez to chase him. And I think one of those counter opportunities are going to be there, and eventually he's going to put Lopez lights out. So give me Nurgozhay, and I'm going to say he does it by second round knockout.
All right. Yeah, like Nurgozhay, kind of as you mentioned, like he is a pretty good striker. Yeah, he'll throw leg kicks, straights, teep kicks. He's got decent power. He'll mix up his targets. He can also go for the cage push. Mediocre wrestling and grappling, I would say. And then on Lopez' side, he's a decent striker. Yeah, he'll throw leg kicks, a step and knee he has. He'll also mix up his targets. Yeah, he likes to get the grappling going, cage push, get in the clinch, throw some knees and elbows. He's got some decent wrestling, good takedown defense, and he also does much better when he's the hammer. And yeah, as you mentioned with Nurgozhay, like that tick he has that he keeps like touching his eye, you know, when you're fighting people on the amateur scene and people haven't watched a ton of tape on you or there isn't much tape on you, that's something that I think you can get away with. But once you start getting to the UFC and you got coaches watching your tape trying to figure out a game plan for their fighter to win, I think that's something that, like you mentioned, people are going to take advantage of, whether that's hitting him while he's doing that or taking him down when he's doing that. Like I remember with Dustin Poirier in the Makhachev fight, they talked about that. Is every time he grabs his shorts, that's when we can try to make a move on him. And yeah, like this fight actually, Lopez opened up at minus 180. And again, it was only for like a few minutes and it got hammered and then he ended up flipping to the underdog. But I I'm not saying he should have been minus 180, but I kind of think he should be the favorite or at least a pick 'em. Like I don't think he should be plus 130, or I saw he was even plus 150 on some sites. I just think that line's wrong. Again, yeah, if Nurgozhay is gonna win, or like if Lopez can't get the takedowns and he's stuck on the feet, yeah, he's probably gonna end up getting knocked out. Like I could definitely see that again. He's a little bit chinny and he doesn't have the best striking, but at plus 150, like I just think there's a good chance. There's also a good chance that Lopez is gonna be able to get him down. And Nurgozhay doesn't have the best fight IQ by any means. Also doesn't have very good submission defense by any means. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Lopez in this one to get it done by finish. Yeah, again, these are also two guys that I'm not looking to bet on by any means. But yeah, I just think Lopez is going to end up getting success, whether it's the cage push or the takedowns. And yeah, because of Nurgozhay's lack of grappling and submission defense, he's been exposed. He got Kimura'd by Brenson Ribeiro, and then he got Ezekiel choked by Uren Saltibaldiev. So yeah, I just think there's a lot of red flags. Again, yeah, could Nurgozhay knock him out? Absolutely. But yeah, as far as a bet, I think this is totally a dog or pass situation. So yeah, I think Lopez plus 150 is a decent bet, or also the over 1.5 at minus 120 I like as well. Because again, Lopez, if he's losing on the feet, which I think he will be, he's not just going to stand there and strike with Nurgozhay. He's not going to play Nurgozhay's game. He's going to try to grapple, cage push him. More of a Rizvan Kuniev type of fight, just beat you up along the cage. So yeah, I think I'm going to take Lopez here. I'm not sure if I'd bet it, but I think as far as a bet, yeah, it'd definitely be dog or pass here. So we will keep on moving. Next up, we have Steven Asplund versus Guilherme Pat. We have Asplund at minus 300 and Pat at plus 245. And this one, you got Pat, who is like a pretty good striker. He's got like a karate style, quite athletic, like in general for the heavyweight division. He got pretty good speed, decent jab, variety of kicks. He can be low volumes at times. I noticed he was a lot more low volume in the Thomas Peterson fight, where he kind of had to worry about getting taken down compared to the Alan Fry fight, where he wasn't. I mean, Fry tried to take him down a couple times and cage push him, but more so they were striking. And yeah, he'll mix up his targets. He'll throw elbows. He's got decent takedown defense. He can get held against the cage, and he doesn't offer too much off of his back if he does get taken down. And then on the Asplund side, like he's also a pretty good striker. He wants to pressure you. He'll work the jab, throw boxing combos, kind of more of that. He can be a bit technical, but more so he wants to brawl. He likes to get in the pocket and trade. And yeah, he's got pretty good power. He'll throw some elbows as well. He's got good takedown defense, and he'll work back to the feet as well if he's taken down. He's got incredible heart, and the guy loves to fight. He's smiling in there, which is cool, and he's also very durable as well. And in Asplund's last fight against Petrino, he took that one on short notice. So I don't think you can take some, but don't you can't take too much from that. Like he looked pretty good in his Contender Series fight and in his first UFC fight. Again, I know it's not the greatest competition, but still. So yeah, for me in this one, I'm gonna pick Asplund to get a later KO, maybe round 2, round 3 KO. I just think he's more of a dog here, and he's going to hurt Pat at some point. And yeah, Pat also tends to get, dropped. He got dropped a couple times against Peterson, and yeah, he tends to tend up on his back a fair bit. And I just think at some point, yeah, he's going to get hurt, and Aspen's going to find a way to finish this fight. I do think the line is a little bit wide right now. This fight actually opened up as a pick'em, and then money poured in on Asplund. Again, it was a pick'em for like only a few minutes, and then now the line is where it is. So yeah, personally, I wouldn't be parlaying Asplund. I think that's going to be a popular one this week, honestly, but I'm not going to be doing that. I think this would be a fight to look at props. I saw Asplund KO is plus 187. I think playing Asplund by KO would definitely be an angle to look at in this fight. So that's my thoughts. What about you?
I agree. I like Asplund in this fight. I just think he's probably going to be the better combination puncher in this spot, and he just puts out a lot more volume than Pat. Pat does have some power, but he doesn't really throw as much. And I noticed that he does very well when he's on his front foot, but when he's on his back foot, he is very hittable. When he's backing up, he doesn't have the best striking defense, and you can hit this guy pretty cleanly. So Asplund, just the way he boxes, I think he's gonna be smart. He's gonna keep this fight at boxing range, put some combinations on this guy, and then eventually, I think he's just gonna put him out of there. Like I said, Pat very hittable on his back foot, and then the guy like Asplund, he's gonna be putting the forward pressure. This guy loves to fight. This guy loves to strike, and he's gonna be the guy walking forward for the most part. So from just a style standpoint, Aspen just he like I said, he appears just to have the faster combinations. He's more aggressive. He has that finishing instinct where he's gonna want to go for the finish, and I think eventually he just backs up Pat on his back foot, lands a cleaner shot, and then probably puts him out. So give me Aspen. I'm gonna say he wins like second round knockout after Pat probably gets tired from the pressure.
All right, next up we got Ty Miller versus Billy Ray Goff. We have Ty Miller at minus 390 and Billy Goff at plus 310. What do you like in this one?
I really like this Ty Miller kid. I really do. Like this past contender series, like there was Michael Oliveira, and to me there was Ty Miller right there. Like this, and he fought a guy in Drago in the contender series. That Drago's actually a pretty good fighter as well. I knew that was gonna be a dogfight, but the way Ty Miller he uses that length very well. Billy Ray Goff, he's very dangerous because he likes to apply a lot of pressure. He's willing to get into a brawl kind of fight, but that aggression also leaves a lot of opening shots for like straight punches down the pipe, knees, check hooks. He can get caught with a lot of different things. And he's lost to some competition that I don't think is UFC level that as much. He's lost to some guys. And this Ty Miller guy, he's not going to trade recklessly with you. He's going to probably angle away, force Goff to probably over again, just reset, put that pressure on him. I do believe he's eventually going to get caught. Like Miller, his length, athleticism, I think he's going to survive very early. And then that finish is most likely just going to come once Goff becomes like overconfident, like he does in a lot of fights, is walking you forward. He's going to think, okay, I'm the one putting pressure. I can land something big. And then he's going to get caught with something coming in. I think Ty Miller knows this. This kid seems smart. He throws straight punches. He has good combinations, good length. So overall, I think Miller's probably going to put him out, and I'm going to say Miller wins this fight probably. I'm going to say first, second round knockout. But yeah, give me Ty Miller.
Yeah, I'm with you in this one. I like Ty Miller. He's a good striker, pressure, solid jab, solid straights, good boxing combos, pretty good power. He's accurate. He'll throw elbows. He does struggle defending the leg kicks a little bit, especially in that contender series fight. He's got some decent takedown defense. He'll work back to the feet if he does get taken down. And I noticed that his takedown defense does get better as the fight goes on. As his opponent starts to fatigue, his takedown defense definitely gets better. So I'm definitely a fan of that. And on the Goff side, like he's a pretty good striker. Got some good volume. He'll mix up his targets and strikes. He is a little bit hittable and doesn't have the best striking defense. He likes to get into that dirty boxing range. He's a decent grappler, decent takedowns. Yeah, he's got that zombie style. He's down to, take one to land one type thing. He can go for the cage push and he can also go for opportunistic back takes. But yeah, I just think, with that zombie style, using that against a guy who has as sharp a boxing as Ty Miller does, I don't think is going to end too well. Yeah, like I kind of think Miller's going to end up getting this one done by knockout, whether it's, it could be just a one punch knockout or it could be just an accumulation of the damage he takes. Yeah, Goff's pretty wild and he might land some as well, but I just think, yeah, Miller is a very solid prospect, very crisp boxing, and I just think he's going to find a way to get this done. So I think as far as a pick, give me Miller by knockout. And as far as a bet, I also like Miller by knockout at plus 110. I think that'd be worth a look for sure. So we will keep moving. Next up, we have Amanda Lemos versus Alexia Thainara. We have Lemos at plus 200 and Thainara at minus 240. In this one, you got Lemos, good striker, like very good striker, works the jab, has power for the weight class, keep kicks, leg kicks, poor fight IQ. She loves to jump the guillotine, especially in this matchup when you're going against a grappler. That's not something that you want to do. Yeah, and she'll sometimes she'll defend a takedown or stop the takedown. Now she's getting cage push. She'll reverse the position and then she'll just keep grappling. Like instead of backing up and resetting to the striking range where she has an advantage, she'll just keep grappling, which is honestly kind of mind-boggling. She does have some sweeps and some pretty good ground and pound. And then on the Thainara side, pretty good striker, pressure style, mixes up her punches and kicks, throws a lot of 1-2s and straight combinations. She'll throw some leg kicks. She's got pretty good takedowns, got a variety of them as well. She'll catch kicks. We'll use that to look for takedowns as well at times. Yeah, she can cage push, pretty good top control, decent ground and pound, and she's got some pretty good wrestling and grappling overall. So for me in this one, I'm going to take Thainara by decision. I think she's going to be able to get her takedowns and grappling game going. And, Lemos stays pretty defensively responsible on the mat. She's not going to take a whole lot of chances and put herself in bad positions. So I think that, the submission is on the table, but most likely I think Thainara ends up winning a decision here. So yeah, Thainara via decision at plus 110, I think would definitely be worth a look. What about you?
I like Thainara in the spot as well. I think this is one of the cleaner spots on the card. I'm a big fan of this girl. She throws a lot of strikes. She has a lot of volume. She pushes forward. She mixes in takedowns. She kind of almost might be the full package. She even has decent cardio to go all 3 rounds and keep that same pressure up. Obviously, Lemos is gonna have that power shot. She has that one strike type of power that can knock you out. Her striking is very good as well. But honestly, I just think Thainara, if she just respects the power, I just think that she has more ways to win every minute of this fight. Like she can outwork what's it called, Lemos at range. She can push her in the clinch. She can mix in takedowns. Also, she has very good movement as well too. So she's not Lemos is gonna want you to stand right in front of her, and she's gonna catch you with something. But Thainara has no problem moving and utilizing the ring. So I think Lemos may land the hardest, probably I would say the hardest individual shot in this fight, but I just think that's probably going to land more in a total offense. I think this fight is going to be going Thainara's way, but by the time that 3rd round comes, I think Lemos could get tired from defending clinches, defending takedowns, and then might even open the path to a ground and pound or a submission victory in this 3rd round. So I'm going to say Thainara wins by decision, but the 3rd round finish is on the board.
All right. We will keep moving. Next up, we got Darren Elkins versus Yadier Del Valle. We have Elkins coming in at plus 561 and Del Valle at minus 800. What do you like in this one?
Obviously, Del Valle is gonna win this fight. Honestly, you want to talk about a guy that fights zombie style? That is Darren Elkins. This guy is made to just be tough and push forward. The one thing Elkins is, I think he's on a 16th month layoff for this fight. He hasn't fought in over a year at this point. This guy doesn't have the best. He shoots and he shoots into takedowns. He has a very opportunistic type of where he can catch you with anything. He can end up on top for the most part. And one thing I don't like about Valle is he knows he can get submissions off his back sometimes. That's the one thing that kind of does scare me. Overall, Valle is faster. He's gonna have more pressure. I think Elkins might have a better cardio, but Elkins, one of the toughest fighters, but he's 42, long layoff. I think this fight is going to come down to Elkins probably gets caught with something in the grappling exchanges. So I'm going to say Yadier probably submits him probably in that second or third round. So give me the Valle.
All right. Yeah, and this one, you got Elkins, like decent striker. At this point in his career, like he definitely lacks a lot of speed. Can go for takedowns of his own. And yeah, he's taken a lot of damage in his career, which I don't like. Plus coming off a, sizable layoff. And on the Del Valle side, like he's a decent striker, nothing special. Throw some leg kicks. Yeah, he's more so a grappler. Like he's got good grappling. He'll attack submissions, decent takedowns, pretty good ground and pound, and he's opportunistic with the back takes. Yeah, I just think again watching Elkins' last fight, like he looks done to me. And again, Del Valle, like I cashed with him on the Contender Series. I cashed with him against Connor Matthews. I also cashed with him in that Bulgarian fight, but obviously that fight has a lot of red flags around it. And I didn't actually bet him in his last fight. Just because like watching some of the tape and again betting this guy and following him, like there was just some red flags and just he was a big favorite in that one, and I just didn't buy the hype or didn't think that line was accurate by any means. And I know that burned a lot of people's parlays that night. I remember that. And yeah, I just think Del Valle is going to be able to find a way to get this one done. Yeah, he's just going to be much more athletic and just hungrier in this one. So yeah, I think he finds a way to get it done. Honestly, in the first round, not sure whether it's submission or TKO, but I think Del Valle just round one, plus 155. I think that could be worth a look. So yeah, we will keep on moving. Next up, we have Billy Quarantillo versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. We have Billy Q at plus 161 and Diego Ferreira at minus 184. In this one, you got Billy Q, who a lot of people thought he was like retired after this fight or after his last fight. Like people thought he was done. I was kind of one of them, but I guess he's back. Yeah, he's a decent striker. Throw high and low kicks. He's got some basic boxing combos. He's got a step and knee that's pretty nice. He is willing to trade in the pocket, is fairly hittable, and he much prefers to move forward. He can go for takedowns of his own, and he's got some decent grappling. And on the Ferreira side, good striker, works the jab, pressure style. He's got some pretty good power, got a good body kick, good boxing combos. He looks to finish the fight. He'll throw some elbows, decent takedown defense. He's active from his back. He does work back to his feet if he does get taken down, and he is a pretty good grappler. Both of these guys are coming off fairly violent knockouts. On the Billy Q side, yeah, a year and 7 months ago, he got knocked out by Cub Swanson, which it was a hell of a fight, but then he ended up getting put out. And then on the Ferreira side, in his last fight, which was 10 months ago, he fought Alexander Hernandez, and he also got knocked out pretty bad. And you got Billy Q, who's almost 38 rather, and then you got Diego Ferreira, who's 41. So both of these guys are, closer to the end than the beginning for sure. I think it's going to be a sick fight. Honestly, I think it's going to be a striking fight, strikers delight, that kind of thing. So this is one that I'm definitely interested in watching. However, I'm not sure if I end up betting this one. My pick is going to be Ferreira by knockout. I just trust him more in this matchup, and he's going to have more tools to use in the striking game. But yeah, Billy Q's crafty vet in his own right. He's going to come down and he's going to throw down. So yeah, anything could happen in this fight. Really, I kind of see it ending by knockout either way. So as far as a bet, I don't mind Ferreira inside the distance at plus 115, or maybe the best bet in this fight ends by knockout at minus 135. I think that would definitely be worth a look. What about you?
I'm on the Billy Q side in this spot. His weapon is his pace. This guy has an enormous pace his whole entire fight. I believe the numbers right here I have down. He averages almost 8 significant strikes landed per minute. That is crazy. This guy throws so much shots at one point. Obviously, Ferreira is going to be more the cleaner, technical striker. probably early in this fight. He also has a good submission game as well. But Billy, he's constantly just going to be attacking. He goes to the body, he goes to the head. He's going to be walking forward, pushing that pace on you, pushing you into the clinch. He's going to be doing a lot of work. And I think the way this fight goes is I think Ferreira's going to look like the better fighter early. And the Ferreira is live. I think he's going to look good first round. He's cleaner, more technical. He has dangerous counter shots, but Billy cannot get careless in this spot, but this pace is too much. But that second and third round, I think the pace is going to get too much for Ferreira. I think he's going to slow down. I think he's going to make it miserable for Ferreira in that second and third, going to the body, mixing in a whole bunch of shots. So I kind of think it's going to be 1-1 going into that third round. Both of them are going to look good in their particular rounds. In that third round, I just think that Ferreira is going to be so tired. He's a gas, and that's when Billy's going to start putting it on him, landing some heavy shots, and I think Billy can actually finish him. So I'm going to say Billy Q wins this fight by third round knockout just from the pace being too much for Ferreira. So give me Billy Q.
All right. Moving on to the main event. And guys, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, drop a comment for us. Doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps us out, helps with the channel. So definitely be sure to do that. In the main event, we have Quillen Salkilld versus Mateusz Gamrot. We have Salkilld coming in at -132 and Gamrot at +112. What do you like in this one?
This is another fight so close back and forth. Honestly, I went back and forth in this one, but I'm gonna go with Mateusz Gamrot. I obviously I understand why everyone's excited about Salkilld. He's younger, long, probably the more dangerous pure striker. But this is a massive step up in competition, in my opinion, for him. He went against Beneil Dariush in his last fight. Obviously, Beneil was looking pretty good in that fight, and Beneil just can't take a shot. You can knock this guy out with the jab. Wind can blow and blow a leaf into Beneil's chin, and Beneil will probably get knocked out. So Beneil at this point is done. But at this point, I just think Gamrot, he's one of the hardest fighters in the divisions to go against. He doesn't stop at the takedowns. If one takedown doesn't work, he's gonna go for another one. He mixed in striking very well. And one thing about Salkilld is has decent scrambles, but over 5 rounds, I just trust Gamrot. His chain wrestling, his experience, his cardio to be too much. I can literally see this fight going to where Salkilld wins round 1, Gamrot wins round 2, and then Gamrot wins round 3, Salkilld wins round 4, and then round 5, it's 2-2 going in there. And we can see both of them have their moments, but I think that Gamrot's going to win just from the cardio and the takedown. So this fight can be a split decision, in my opinion, but I'm going to go Mateusz Gamrot by decision, by split decision probably. So give me Gamrot 48-47 in a very close fight.
All right. Yeah, and this one, looking at Gamrot, decent striker. He's got some decent straight punches. Fairly limited on the feet, though. Doesn't have too many weapons overall to use. Yeah, he's mainly striking to set up his takedowns. He's got solid wrestling, pretty good grappling. He'll get the cage push going. Decent top control. Definitely not the best. That's something that he's struggled with is, once he gets his opponents down, he doesn't really do a whole lot with it, and his opponents tend to get up. He's got, decent ground and pound. He is position over submission. Yeah, he's definitely fine to control you and try to win minutes. Isn't hunting finishes necessarily by any means. Opportunistic back takes, and yeah, very uncomfortable if stuck on the feet for long periods of time, especially if he's getting backed up. And on the Salkilld side, good striker, mixes up his strikes and targets. Good boxing combos, good power, good grappling. He's a finisher. Pretty good takedown defense. He's been taken down sometimes, but if he does get taken down, he scrambles and does what he needs to do to work back to the feet if he is taken down. He also can go for takedowns of his own. He can get stuck against the cage at times, but then he will fight out of it, find a way to reverse that position. And he's got some, he can get submissions as well. He's no slouch in the grappling and the wrestling. So yeah, for me in this one, I like Salkilld and I like Salkilld by knockout. I don't give Gamrot much finishing upside here. I think he's going to end up stuck on the feet with Salkilld and get beat up. I think it's going to look somewhat similar to the Dan Hooker fight, where he's essentially going for takedowns. Hooker defends or gets right up, and then they're back to striking, and then he's going to be getting beat up. Salkilld isn't going to have to worry too much about what's coming back his way, and we'll just need to focus on defending the takedowns for the most part. and just landing strikes on Gamrot. Watching the tape on this one, I actually think if this was a 3-round fight, it would actually favor Gamrot more. I think it being a 5-round fight is actually bad for Gamrot. And again, Salkilld called out Gamrot. Obviously, he thinks he can win this fight. Otherwise, he wouldn't have called him out. And the UFC definitely wants Salkilld to knock him out here. They're trying to, get away from these boring wrestlers that tend to stall out the fight. And yeah, I think they believe that Salkilld can get this done, and so does Salkilld. So yeah, I played Salkilld at minus 125. Before I taped it, I saw the line. I saw that Salkilld was the favorite, and I was like, okay, interesting. And then after tape, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, I play him at minus 125. Some money's coming on him. Yeah, he's closer to that minus 130, minus 140 range. Do your line chopping. But yeah, again, if this was a 3-round fight, I think it would be a lot tougher matchup for Salkilld. But in a 5-round fight, I don't think that Gamrot's going to be able to take him down. Salkilld gets up, take him down again. Salkilld gets up. How long can he do that for? I don't think he can do that for 5 rounds straight. And when he gets up, Salkild's going to be kicking him, punching him, mixing up his strikes, and I think he's going to end up finishing this fight. So yeah, give me Salkilld by knockout. And as far as a bet, I like him straight up on the money line. Minus 132 I'm seeing right now. I don't mind that at all. So that does it for our main event. That is UFC Fight Night, Salkilld versus Gamrot. So we will move on to our next segment, our fight to watch and our fighter to watch. So Wager, let me ask you, who is your fighter to watch on Fight Night, Gamrot versus Salkilld?
Fighter to watch on this one for me, Thainara. I think this girl has the goods. I think she's, like I said, she's going to take on a girl that's been in the division for a long time. A lot of people are very familiar with Amanda Lemos, and I just think that Alexia Thainara, like I said, she strikes very well. She has good movement, good takedown wrestling. I think this girl is an all around great fighter. So for me, it's going to be Alexia Thainara, the fighter to watch.
All right, for me, my fighter to watch is going to be Ty Miller. I was very impressed with how he looked on Contender Series. I was very impressed with him in his last fight against Adam Fugit. I played him there by knockout, and he got it done with a buzzer beater in the first round. You know what? And like I said, with Billy Ray Goff's zombie style, he's going to come forward. These guys are going to throw down, and I think this one's going to be fireworks. So yeah, I think Ty Miller is definitely the fighter to watch in this one. So now our fight of the night. Wager, what is your fight of the night?
My fight is going to be Billy Q versus Ferreira. Just because I just think Billy Q is going to have a crazy pace. And Ferreira, like I said, he's going to look good early. But I think eventually he's going to slow down and get caught with something by Billy Q in that 3rd round when he gets tired. So I think this could be a dogfight. A lot of Billy Q's fights are dogfights where he just puts a tremendous pace on there. So yeah, Billy Q and Diego Ferreira is my fight of the night.
All right. My fight of the night is going to be Manoel Sousa versus Richie Miranda. Both these guys, on the Sousa side, he's 14-1. On the Miranda side, he's 13-1. There's a lot on the line here. And, these guys are both hungry. They're both, on the rise. And I think we're going to see a lot of fireworks in this one as well. I think Sousa, just with his style and how he fights, he's a finisher. And I think that he's going to come out, look to throw his power shots, and this one's going to have a lot of striking, a lot of exciting moments, and I think just an overall great showing of mixed martial arts. So that'll be my fight of the night. So, Wager, let me ask you, what else do you got going on your channel this week?
I have a busy week this week. Obviously, I'm going to be making my individual video for UFC, PFL, but we're going to be doing episode 11 for PFL later on this week as well. I also today just hosted 2 fighter interviews. I did an interview with Daniel Araujo that coming off a unanimous decision victory this weekend for LFA in a very close fight. And then I posted another interview with Benny the Bull Orozco. He's going to be fighting in LFA in about 2 weeks. Another fighter to keep your eye on. And then I'm going to have another interview coming up probably at the end of the week with another fighter on that same card with Adrian Garcia. So a lot of interviews coming up. I'm scheduling a lot of interviews with these fighters. I'm going to be reaching out to some more fighters to get some more opportunities out there to talk to some people. So, yeah, keep your eye up on the page. And obviously, I do all different types of sports as well. So if you guys haven't yet, go check out my click the thumbs up on any of my videos and subscribe.
Awesome. Yeah, As Wager mentioned, we're going to be doing episode 11 of Fight IQ for PFL Charlotte. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And then I'll have another episode of 5 MMA bets in just 10 minutes. We went 3 for 5 the first episode. We went 4 for 5 this past week. So obviously, you know what that means. We're going 5 for 5 this week. Obviously, we'll see what we can do. But that's the goal, obviously. And so definitely subscribe, hit the like, drop a comment. We're gonna help you guys cash in. That's the whole point. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, drop a comment, and we will catch you guys in the next one.